You're watching Cable 2.
Good evening and welcome to the March 14th, 2023 Winston-Salem Forsyth County Board of Education meeting. I am Deanna Kaplan, Board Chair, and I appreciate your attendance, and I also say good evening to our viewers on Cable 2. Will you please rise as we start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing as you are able for the invocation given by Board Member Susan Miller. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God, we call you to surround all of our schools, locally and around the nation, with your protection. We pray for our students, our educators, and all who work with our schools, that they will be safe and productive, free to teach and learn without fear and without acts of violence on our campuses. Protect the students from danger and bullying, and provide this school board with your wisdom and guidance. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Our first order of business tonight is the agenda review. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as written?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Board Member Brown Gaither, and I have a second by Board Member Crowley. Do I have any discussion? All in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you. Our next order of business is our student performance. Please join me in welcoming the Haynes Magnet Middle School a cappella.
While they file in, good evening. We are so thankful to be here. We thank Mr. Kraft for allowing us to come and sing for you. I hope you enjoy what you're going to hear. This is mostly a student-led group, so without further ado, this is Loyal, Brave, True from the live-action Mulan.
One, two, three, one, ready, go. Should I ask myself in the water what a warrior would do? Tell me how
Thank you. That was amazing. Our next order of business is our special recognitions. First are the school performance recognitions presented by Dr. Fabi Williams, our Deputy Superintendent.
Good evening, Chair Kaplan, Vice Chair Mr. Bohannon, respected members of the board, Superintendent McManus, and all guests. By way of a letter, I bring greetings from the Department of Public Instruction, congratulating several of our schools in our entire district for the school's performance during the 2021 school year. As we're all aware, the 2021 school year was not without challenges, but our schools did what they always do. They educated all of our children. Today, with your permission, I would like to recognize some of our schools who are represented here today by their leaders for graduation rate, meeting academic growth, and exceeding academic growth. I will start with exceeding academic growth. Atkins Academic and Technology High School, Chris Nichols. As I call you principals, if you're here, please just come up. Rural Hall Elementary School, Shannon Bowles, principal. Clements Elementary, Wendy Brewington. Now, I must warn you, it's a lot of our schools, so you might want to hold the applause till the end. Whitaker Elementary, Chris Holbrook. Southwest Elementary, Summer Jackson. Walkertown Middle, Monica Bruce. Sedge Garden Elementary, Angela Reeves. Reagan High School, Brad Royal. Petrie Elementary School, Alicia Bailey. Old Town Elementary, Deborah Gladstone. Old Richmond Elementary, Brian Brookshire. Morgan Elementary, Stephanie Saunders. Louisville Middle, Charles McInich. Louisville Elementary, Anna Balzer. Cognac Elementary, I hope I said that right. Sheila, Conoke. Yes, Conoke Elementary, Sheila Burnett. Kernersville Middle, Lisa Smith Duggins. Kernersville Elementary, Teresa Rose. Jefferson Elementary, Katie McGregor. Ibrahim Elementary, Angie Choplin. Gibson Elementary, Cynthia Russell. East Taunton Elementary, Romana Warren. The Downtown School, Andy Niles, Laisha Niles. Cook Literacy Model, Selena Trivy. Clements Middle, Sandra Hunter. And Cash Elementary, Jennifer Swarford. So those are our exceeding growth. So we want to just. So now I'm going to call meeting growth. I want for all the principals to stay because they might want pictures all together with the board. So.
Okay.
Dace Lathan, Cassandra Dobson. Ashley Elementary, Jonelle Gatlin. Bolton Elementary, Cheryl Fraser. Brunson Elementary, Anisha Scales. Caleb's Creek Elementary, Rita McFadder. Carver High School, Thais Maxwell. Early College at Forsyth, Joey Harrell. East Forsyth Middle, Donald Watt. Griffin Elementary, Tiffany Kraft. Haynes Magnet, Robin Willard. Kimberly Park Elementary, Diamond Cotton. Kimmel Farm Elementary, Angela Moore Little. Meadowlark Elementary, Neil Raymer. Meadowlark Middle, Matt Dixon. Mineral Springs Elementary, McQuetta Johnson. Moore Elementary, Justin McKell. North Hill Elementary, LaJoy Wilson Moore. Northwest Middle, Elfrida Smith. Kennedy High School, William Wayne. Piney Grove Elementary, Brandon Elkins. Sherwood Forest Elementary, Jacob Loeffler. Smith Farm Elementary, Broke. South Fourth Elementary, Rachel Green Hughes. Spears Elementary, Robert Ash. Union Cross Elementary, Javita Neil Stockton. Vienna Elementary, Lee Cook. I always am very careful of saying that name, Lee Cook. Yes, okay. Walkertown Elementary, Dana McInich. West Forsyth High School, Kevin Spinell. And Winston-Salem Prep, Keisha Gabriel. Those are our legal agreements. And then so finally, we have another category, which is outstanding graduation rate. Atkins Academic and Technology High School, 98.8% graduation rate. We also have the Middle College at Forsyth and Early College at Forsyth, 100% graduation rate. Now, all of our schools were supported by our area superintendents who are here today. I just want to recognize them. We have Ms. Carmen Concepcion from the East, Dr. Tamisha Barnes-Jones from Inspire, Dr. Quincy Williams from the North, Ms. Felicia Davis from the South, and Dr. Joe Friedman from the West. Thank you, schools, and congratulations. If you guys could just kind of turn around and shake the board's hand. These are all principals, so let's see if they can figure it out, because the kids always figure it out, right? You got your certificate? Okay, good. Oh, of course. I try. I think I started a couple. Oh, look at me. I know. I'm about to say something. I'm about to say something else about the rest of it. Yeah, I know.
That's a lot of work. You have to get up and do that anymore. You got to be dedicated.
So before they all completely escape the building, I'd just like to say that we expect that all of them will return next year, as well as the other 81 schools that we have.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. Next, Andrew Kraft, Director of Arts Education, will present the Arts Education Proclamation.
This works. Excellent. Thank you. Good evening, distinguished board, Madam Chair, Superintendent McManus. We are here today to recognize the importance of arts education, and I'm thrilled to be here on behalf of all arts teachers in WSFCS. Joining me tonight are the members of my team. We have Miss Sarah Crater, who's lead over theater and dance, Miss Penny Freeland, who is lead over K-12 visual arts, and Mr. Eugene Mabry, who is lead over K-12 music. So last year, 72% of all WSFCS students were enrolled in some form of the arts, which is higher than the state average in North Carolina. And we have so many incredible arts events, including multiple all-county events that showcase our music, theater, and dance students, as well as various art shows, including our Winter Reflections art show that's held at SECA, and the Spring Arts Extravaganza held at Milton Rhodes, which was last week. So tonight we ask the board and Superintendent McManus to sign the proclamation to continue to maintain and grow our arts programs in WSFCS. And the proclamation reads as follows. Whereas March has been designated by the National Dance Education Organization as Dance in Our Schools Month, whereas the National Association for Music Education has designated March as Music in Our Schools Month, whereas the National Theater Association has designated March as Theater in Our Schools Month, and whereas the Council of Art Education has designated March as Youth Art Month, whereas all students have the right to an arts education that includes dance, music, theater, and visual arts taught by certified arts educators, whereas arts education has the power to change students' lives, whereas arts education helps nurture healthy, inclusive communities where all points of view are respected, whereas arts education experiences help students understand their own cultural roots and appreciate others' cultural roots and traditions, whereas arts education supports the social and emotional well-being of students and fosters a more positive, safer school environment, whereas arts education is essential for all students in North Carolina as part of a well-rounded education. So North Carolina Superintendent Truitt and the Arts Education Coalition declared March 2023 as Arts in Our Schools Month in North Carolina and urge all citizens to acknowledge that arts education is essential to every student's education. Therefore, Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools pledges to maintain and grow our arts programs in the 2022-23 school year and beyond. And so I believe, do we have any arts educators with us tonight? Music, dance, theater, visual arts? If you'd please stand. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for your time, and happy Arts and Education Month, everyone, and thank you for supporting arts education in WSFCS. All right, thank you.
Board Chair Kaplan, can I make a comment? I just want to let you know, so last week, if you went to the Arts Extravaganza, if you had a chance to get by there, the artwork displayed there by our students was, and their teacher, it was incredible. And I have just said, I've been here for 3 years, and something I can say with complete confidence, sincerity is, I mean, our arts teachers, both visual and performing, band, all of it, are the best anywhere.
Yes,
I mean,
yes, they
yes, they are. They are incredible. And yeah, so what they produce, you can see at the band jamboree, you can see in all the orchestra concerts, you can see in all the programs, you can see it is just incredible. So I just want to thank all of our arts teachers this month, and Andrew, you and your team for just the incredible work. Thank you.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Our next order of business is public comments on agenda items, but we have no speakers today, so we will move on to our superintendent's update.
Did I hear you correctly? There's no public comment?
No public
Sorry, I
comments.
wasn't ready, so we're ready now. Wow. I'm in awe. Okay. So I have just a few slides to cover this evening. Panorama survey is the first one, and I think, if I'm correct, we may be extending that by a few days to the end of 1 week, or the end of the week, 1 week. And so if you look at our current response rates, if you can see on the slide, it shows where we currently are in spring, where we were in fall. Our goal would be at least to get to where we were in fall, so we're comparing the same amounts as we look to see what improvements have we made in our schools. And so I'm just going to urge our families. We broke it down by families, students, and staff. And so we want to bring those numbers up at least to where we were in the fall administration, but even I would love to surpass that. So just to let everybody know, and then we show kind of right this moment. Again, we've got a week left, but you can kind of see where the schools are right now that are top in each category. So we're going to keep plugging away at that. Some updates on board workshops I wanted to share with our board. These are currently now in the calendar on Tuesdays, and just so you can see some of the items coming up. Next week, we'll be doing our systems of support for schools with our area superintendents and Dr. Williams. We'll be diving into goals 1 and 2 on April 18th, a deep dive into those goals related to instruction, equity, access. May 2nd, we're going to spend a lot of time jumping into recruitment, retention, hiring. We'll be going over a lot of our data and our plans for continuing to recruit great teachers and staff in our schools and throughout the district. We're going to have a session specifically on school safety coming up, then one on transportation, another follow-up to the code, which we had said the other day it would be every 3 months. That would be 3 months later. And then June 20th, we will do an update on technology. So these are going to just continue to be deep dives, and we will be making sure these are noticed to the public as we continue just to advance our learning as a board. On Tuesday, the 21st, board members, you all heard about this, but we're really excited about our first annual middle school student forum with the Board of Education. And so that's going to be from 9:30 to 12:30, where students are going to be bringing you what's on their mind, and you'll be able to comment back to them about, in response, and just have some really great dialogue. So we're really excited about that. Upcoming hiring events. So I just want to give a shout out to our recruitment and team and HR. They have continued all year long to plan and deliver on these hiring events. So we've got one coming up March 16th, Let's Talk Trades. And then we've got our spring career fair on March 25th at Career Center. So 2 more events to continue bringing talent into our school district. So if you are seeing these items, advertisements on Twitter, keep reposting them. Let's get all the people that we can to join us in our district. And I think this is my last slide, but this week is Say Something Week, and I wanted to highlight this. because we are one of the districts that is part of the Say Something app, and it is used. In the last month alone, I think we've had about 38 reports on the Say Something app. But this is really important as we think about weapons, bullying, anything like that in our schools. This is the way that students or adults can anonymously report. And I will tell you this year, as we think about weapons on campus, we've had 4 actual firearms this year on our campuses that, not that someone brought in and had them out to use, but that students reported, hey, I think this student has that. And so they have actually been uncovered through Say Something app, but also just by saying something, period. Not even necessarily on it, but that they went and reported it to someone. There's also a lot that we report everything. So it's splat guns, BB guns, toy guns, and a lot of the things that we report are things like that. And so I'm just going to continue encouraging parents, like, check with your children before they head out to school. Check their book bags. Just be part of that solution with us. But I will say that I wanted to highlight this because it is Say Something Week, and it is really working on our district. I think since we started it over a year ago, we've had about 450, close to 450 reports. And so I think that says a lot, that people want to make sure that any kind of safety issue is being reported, whether it's anonymously or going straight to your administration and letting them know. So thank you.
Thank you. Our next item, order of business, is our discussion items. First, Dr. Paula Wilkins, our Chief Academic Officer, will discuss the request for qualifications, the RFQ review, and list of recommended service providers and academic enrichment activities for summer programs.
Good evening, Board Chair Kaplan, Vice Chair Bohannon, Superintendent McManus, and members of the board. So we came to you during curriculum committee, not sure how long it was ago. Sometimes things blur a bit, with an update about our summer programming. And one of the things we talked about is how do we maximize our collaboration with our community partners to support our students. And so there are some essential reasons for that. One is we want to expand our capacity. We know in a teacher shortage and also knowing summer, we want to be able to reach out to our teachers to provide that good academic instructional support without burning them out so they come back with us in the fall. We also want to leverage our final dollars for ESSER for us to be able to provide some critical services for catch-up growth for our students. We want to standardize our summer experiences. And I keep talking about joy and fun. I think I talked about joy and fun the last time. We're still thinking about joy because students still need joy with learning during the summer. And then we want to see how we can determine how this model can transition and support our needs during the academic school year. So as I noted, we want students to have an opportunity to explore their passions and to cultivate new skills, to be able to get exposure to opportunities they might not get during the regular school year. We want to also provide those targeted interventions needed for catch-up growth to ensure that they meet academic standards and prevent summer learning loss, which is critical as we think about catch-up growth. And we also want to restructure our function for summer programming and think about the love of learning being critical for our summer. So as you remember, a few enhancements to our program, standardizing some expectations around field trips, enrichment activities, and engaging lessons for our students, partnering with our community partners to help us do that. Monday through Friday for services for students, but Monday through Thursday for our Winston-Salem, Forsyth County summer staff. Providing a vacation week during 4th of July for our teachers who want to work for the summer, but they also know there's very short time for any transition in between ending summer and starting the school year, so providing that opportunity for them as well. 8:30 to 4 o'clock, the day would be for our students looking at least an 8-week program, and 5 weeks with push-in instruction from the Winston-Salem Forsyth County staff. So this is a configuration about the services for our program, matching provider with Winston-Salem Forsyth County school staff for the weeks for the summer calendar. And then we provided you with a summer schedule. So that's just kind of a recap of what I provided before. And today, our goal is to talk a little bit about our request for qualifications process and how that went, and where we need the board's support to move forward with collaboration with our community providers. So I'm going to invite our Director of Procurement, Mr. John Mann, to come and share about that process and the recommendations.
Thank you, Dr. Wilkins, members of the board chairman Kaplan, board vice chairman Bohannon. Wanted to just share with you briefly regarding the request for qualifications that the district undertook for service providers for summer school program. We advertised this in mid-January to request service providers who can provide request-enhanced services, including enrichment activities and field trips on Fridays. Providers are to share the qualifications they have to provide these services. We also ask for the enrichment providers to provide us with support on campus field trips, activities, and summer programs as well for the district. How did we do this? We did this by posting on our website, our interactive purchasing system, and the hub link for business opportunities. Also, we submitted information to all of our past requests for proposal applicants throughout the district. There were a team of number of employees from past principals, accountability, evaluation, grants, and testing that also scored these proposals and reviewed them. And they are the ones who provided the committee the scores for the rubric that you see on your next slide. And on this next slide that we have for the rubric, there were 3 points. Wait. Okay, all right. So the first point was a score to provide the district with performance. Okay. And within that point, you are to provide us with a description of proposed activities. The second point within the district was to provide us with your experience that you have within the district. That was around 20 points, 20%. Our third point was your verifiable references that you have within the district, and that was 20%. Our total points was 15 points for the district, for our rubric. Within that scoring of the rubric, we solidified 4 companies: Champion, Community Technical Assistance Incorporated, University Instructors, LLC, and YMCA of Northwest North Carolina. Those were the 4 companies that were selected by the evaluation committee. For the enrichment activities, we did the same scoring for the rubric, a total of 15 points for our rubric, and we selected 5 companies. Those 5 companies were Axum Learning, Cross North Community for Children, Emmanuel Baptist Church, Empower You Community Services, and Living rhythms. With that said, we'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Not a question, but a suggestion as we move forward. Please find a way to post this so that all community and faith-based organizations at the smaller level will have information in case they also want to submit proposals and processes. I often hear that smaller organizations or smaller faith-based groups, we don't know this, so we don't know how to do it, and oftentimes the information is not getting out to our community. So maybe partner with Mark, our community engagement person, as a way to at least advertise the opportunities as we move forward.
Yes, sir.
Suggestion.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Board Member Watts, I just want to make a comment with that. So that was one of the pieces we've already talked with Mark Batten's office about trying to move forward as we think about broadening this and making sure we're reaching every single network that we have. Thank you.
Any more questions?
Yes.
Vice
So-
Chair Bohannon?
Thank you. So just a couple, and Mr. Mann, this may be more of a question for either, first, you may not be able to answer this. So my question was around, for the sake of just the conversation in the public, could you explain the difference between the two different types, so the enrichment versus the service provider?
You go ahead.
So the two RFQs for the service provider, that was for an organization that had the capacity to help kind of co-operate a summer program with us. So they would be responsible for providing the staffing, the enrichment. Of course, we would run all the background checks to ensure compliance. An enrichment provider could be a smaller organization who doesn't have that staffing capacity, but could come provide an activity, facilitate a support service. So that's why you see Living Rhythms, which provides the drumming activities for students, as an enrichment provider versus a service provider, because they currently probably don't have the staffing to help co-operate a summer program with us.
And so the service providers would be utilizing our facilities, or would they be based on like their sites?
So they have a choice, and once you all get to the approval process, we'll get to finalize that. They could use a facility they own or have access to with the approvals of working with us, or they could, in the contract, negotiate to use a site for Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools. They have the option.
Okay, and so are we at the place where we have decided, because I know we're not all the way there yet, where we've kind of decided based on the service providers who receives what, like, you know, how we're going to structure, like who gets which schools or those types of things? Have we worked that out yet?
So we're not at that place yet. So
Okay.
next steps, upon your approval that these recommended providers can be utilized, we go into contract negotiations, working with Mr. Mann in his office to determine terms, facilities use, fees, et cetera. So once we have determined that and understand the capacity of the organization, then we'll be able to assign sites.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Dr. Wilkins, can you also present the Heart Math Tutoring Program?
Absolutely. I'm back again. So I am excited this evening to talk about another support intervention for mathematics. We talk a lot about literacy, and of course we know literacy is in all content areas, and we have to think about another opportunity to engage our community volunteers. So you've heard us talk a lot about Reading Warriors and how we leverage volunteers to help for improvement in schools. Well, I call this somewhat the Reading Warriors of math. And so Heart Math, I was introduced about a month and a half ago with Miss Emily Gaffney from Charlotte, with the executive director of Heart Math. And we had some great conversations about the program and their outcomes of what they were doing in Charlotte. So I want to talk a little bit about this program just from a general standpoint and why we are asking the board's support for moving forward to enter into a contract with them or MOU for the coming year. So we know, based on our data, we have lots of opportunity. About 44% of our fourth graders are performing on grade level in math, similar to some of our data numbers we see in third grade for literacy. This is not good enough. We know that we want better outcomes for our students, and thinking about all of our schools and how important mathematics is to life skills and to success, that we want to provide that opportunity. Unfortunately, we have very few volunteers that engage as mathematics tutors. And the second part of that is thinking about the infrastructure, actual programming that can be provided to support math. And so what we were introduced with Heart Math, and Ms. Gaffney will talk a little bit about, is their program in operation. What I am most excited about is it's small scale. We would start with one elementary school and then work on our implementation, the training of volunteers, the support at the school site, and then work over time to grow it. One of the things that they've done and seen great success in Charlotte and now in Charleston, that they are working as well. And so I'll let her talk more about the program, and then we will answer any questions. Ms. Gaffney.
Good evening. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. I'm Emily Gaffney, CEO at Heart Math Tutoring. We really see ourselves as a link between schools and students and volunteers, knowing that it really takes a lot of work and infrastructure to be able to plug volunteers in effectively, and that schools may not have the bandwidth to do that. But of course, believing that many people would want to help students if given the opportunity. So we bring the infrastructure of first of all, partnership with the school where we're planning in advance with a school principal. Secondly, a curriculum that's aligned with assessments that are aligned with the foundational math concepts students need. And we also place a program coordinator, which is a part-time employee of Heart Math Tutoring who is on site during all of the tutoring. That person is the liaison between teachers and volunteers. So teachers are not managing tutors. No one at the school is really communicating or having to organize the volunteers. That's what the program coordinator is doing there at the school site. And vice versa, the volunteers have a go-to person to work out all the logistics. And we also train all of our volunteers with it's actually a 2-hour training covering the logistics of tutoring, math instruction specifically, and best practices for working with students and meeting students' needs. What it looks like in a school site is that a school would nominate 50 to 60 students who are performing anywhere between 1 and 3 years but below grade level in math. They would then go through a pre-assessment process that our team manages. We would then pair them with lesson plans and one-on-one tutoring. The tutoring would take place for each student twice a week for 30 minutes from the end of September through the end of April. Along the way, we would engage teachers and families with progress reports, and then a twice annual event where families, tutors, and students actually all gather to learn math games that the students can play at home and really have that circle of support really surround the student, both from their volunteer and the family setting. Through all this, our organization is the one working to recruit volunteers, train them, communicate with them, administer the assessments, provide the curriculum and materials, put a staff person in place to make it easy at the schools, report all the data back, engage families. What we look for from a school is the nominations for students. We plan in advance with the principal for windows of time that tutoring can take place. So a third grade, the principal might say that the third grade can be pulled during this certain particular time consistently, and that's the only time we would see third graders. So we work in advance to set up the tutoring times, then we go recruit the volunteers to come at those times. We're also looking for space from the school, so the tutoring might take place in the cafeteria or a media center where our site coordinator can circulate and see everything. And then for the time for pre and post assessments, touch points with the principal that are fairly structured and efficient, just to be respectful of their time, and then working with the school staff if there's a math facilitator or a lead teacher on this. This slide shows one of our best pictures of the difference in students' understanding of math concepts before they start the program and then at the end of the year. We are a nonprofit, and our mission is around helping students build a strong foundation in math and enthusiasm for academics. So we measure the math skills, but also that confidence piece. On the math side, these 12 skills from counting up to single-digit multiplication and division and place value are the ones covered by our curriculum. Our assessments are adapted from Kathy Richardson's Assessing Math Concepts, which I understand Velvet Symington is familiar with and supportive of. But this is just showing that a typical year of student results. This is all of the students served by Charlotte in Charlotte last year, 940 students, and just the percent of students who had mastered these skills when they came in compared to at the end of the year. On the confidence side, we survey teachers, and annually around 90% of teachers are saying that students' confidence and enthusiasm towards academics increases due to the program. Many of our volunteers are actually have full-time employment and are coming on their lunch break or before work. So there's also a bit of a mentorship aspect there where their students are being exposed to different careers and building a one-on-one relationship with somebody throughout the whole year. Those are the nuts and bolts, and I know you have the materials. In the appendix, we did list some of the partnerships that we've been able to develop in Charlotte. We are starting somewhat from scratch in Winston-Salem, but there are some enthusiastic volunteers currently working to raise funding and community partnerships. That group has secured $15,000 towards the first year should this partnership be approved. And if it is approved, we would want to continue fundraising philanthropy from the community and with no fees charged to the district.
Any questions? Yes, Board Member Kuhn.
Within the fundraising, have you, I noticed some of your partners that you show here, have you already started touching any of the local business partners in the community locally to, I guess, start seeing about volunteers here locally from any of these community partners that you've used in Charlotte?
In some cases, we've had some initial conversations in the background. We knew that it needed to go through the official approval process first before doing that. And we've also been in touch with some contacts at Winston-Salem State and Wake Forest University here.
I'm going to respond to that too, because we've got, and I can't remember the number, but it's in the thousands. I think, Brent, and I'm looking at Brent, how many volunteers currently in our volunteer system? So 11,000, and some of those folks have not, we may want to do even a push out to them to say, would anybody interested? Some of them are not actually volunteering. They've said they want to, and this might be the perfect niche for some of them. So that we can also, our volunteer office can help with that as well.
Thank you so much for that suggestion.
Just reiterate one more time for the public, the cost of this math tutoring program. I just want to make sure everyone understands.
There are no fees associated with the partnership with Winston-Salem for Forsyth County Schools. No.
Have we identified a school that would be the pilot one here? Okay. Thank you.
And I just want to say, and you have it written, but I really like the comments in your presentation that the tutor's job is not only to deliver curriculum, but positive influence, giving encouragement and building relationships with students. And that's greatly needed here. So I'm excited for that. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Next, Kimberly Forbes, our Executive Director of CTE, will discuss the purchase of equipment for the CTE programs.
Okay. Good evening, Chair Kaplan, Vice Chair Bohannon, the board, and Superintendent McManus. I'd like to present to you tonight for your approval the purchase of the Anatomage tables. I probably spelled it wrong up there. I have to practice pronouncing it. So I'd like to share with you a short video that kind of will show you exactly what we're talking about. It's hard to describe it.
The Anatomage table is the most exciting piece of equipment I've had as a career and technology educator.
I wish I had my own. I would play with this all the time.
We get to learn a lot of things that other students aren't able to, and I'm thankful for it.
It's bringing to life really what we're studying, taking things from off the textbook page and making them real. Students typically would have to wait until med school to take a course in gross anatomy where they would be learning from a donated cadaver, somebody who donated their body to science. With this table, one of the key features is there are 4 individuals who donated their bodies. The bodies were frozen and then they were sliced in millimeter thick slices, photographed with high resolution, and then those images were put together to create animations where we can peel apart layers, we can dissect certain areas, we can cut apart areas. The other fascinating part of that is each of the 4 people had a different cause of death. So the students get to follow an autopsy protocol to try and discover what was the issue involved with this particular person. We can practice surgical techniques on them. We can isolate particular body systems. Then it has this vast library of thousands of histology images to look at both normal cells and tissues and pathological cells and tissues. It really puts, literally at my students' fingers, a vast database of gross anatomy, histology, case histories. They are very excited about it. At first, they were very tentative. They were very shy about touching it and very shy about interacting with it. They felt a little uncomfortable at first, but once they started to dive in, they want to be sure that we're scheduling time to work with it every day. And the nice thing is we can blend it into every single aspect of what we're doing.
I want to be a physician of some kind. I'm not sure what I'd specialize in yet. I really like anatomy and biology, and I want to work with patients one-on-one.
For career plans, I want to be a surgeon of some sort. I'm not sure exactly which one yet. I was originally looking at neurosurgeon. It's really cool to be able to go around and look at different parts, especially if I want to be a neurosurgeon. I can look at the brain and look at all of these sections of the brain.
It's been really helpful with finding out where exactly things are in the body and being able to identify diseases. You have the histology of any part right there on the screen. It's awesome.
It is hard to overstate how innovative this technology is and what it brings to our learning experience. It really is an innovative CTE tool that's helping prepare my students for college and career. Most of them are heading on to study science, medicine, nursing at college, and they're getting this opportunity that admittedly they very, very likely would not see until postgraduate work.
It's just a really amazing experience, especially if you want to have a hands-on experience with science.
It's pretty extraordinary, and it's hard to encapsulate how that feels, other than that we are incredibly grateful and we're going to be using it every single day.
So that kind of hard for me to explain. You have to see it. It was kind of, I sat through a presentation and I'm not a science person, and it was like I'm glad we have people who are interested in all of that.
All of you that I haven't met. And
so-
hello again to those of you that I have met. As Jake has said, I have been able to work with several schools and districts on.
Sorry, I didn't close that. I apologize. But so we're interested in sharing this with all of our health sciences classes. It can be used in our biomedical classes as well as in science classes. Science teachers can utilize these tables as well because they're mobile. But it gives our students hands-on. It is FDA approved. They get that 3D segmented anatomy experience. The tables, I think, is an advantage, is the table itself is under warranty for 5 years of any type of damage, but as long as we have the tables, the software comes, any updates, any changes we get as a part of that purchase. The funding source is from Career and Technical Education. So I'd like to recommend approval for the 6 Health Sciences program, the 1 Pharmacy Tech program, and then the Animal Science program, because one of the tables actually has the animals similar to the people. So we'd want to support that program as well. Currently, they only have the dog and cat. They're working on a chicken and a cow. So, and that would come in as they're updating them. Anyway, so are there any questions for me?
Okay, Vice Chair Bohannon?
Could you go back like 2 slides? Sorry.
I can try. Okay, is
So
that the one?
Yeah, I was trying to, it says I was looking at the item about the FDA approval. The
Yes.
only fully segmented 3D anatomy system FDA approved.
Yes.
That's amazing. I'm so excited about this. Like, it is.
Well, I was too, and just to tell you, part of, because it's FDA approved, I didn't put this, but if I can share a detail, they have not approved a speaker, you know, for the table, but if we purchased a speaker that would connect Bluetooth to the table, the students can hear it speaking and pronouncing all the words to this, so they're learning their vocabulary, but they're hearing it, because I couldn't even begin to try to pronounce it. So,
Yeah.
I think that's an added benefit, but the FDA has not approved adding a speaker to the table, so that's what they're suggesting that we use if you would approve the purchase.
Thank you.
Oh, did you have something?
I did not, other than
Okay.
to say that I'm excited.
I am too. Oh, my gosh. And you had, in part of our board book material, it looked like it was allotted, these tables were allotted to certain schools, but you did say they're mobile, so the convertible tables for East and Atkins, are those easy to maybe move to other high schools, or all of the tables, can they move as, you know,
Well,
as a special treat for the biology classes?
They come with special packing crates that you would have to move them in
So it's a
so
little more
that they
difficult.
don't damage them.
Okay.
When I was talking portable, I was thinking within the schools
Okay.
themselves. And the reason we selected those, that's where our programs currently are
Right.
with the health sciences.
I just didn't know when I saw
I know.
convertible tables, I thought, well, maybe they can fold up and.
Yeah, the convertible means you saw in the video where they stand straight up. Those are very wide, so we actually had to measure doors to make sure they would fit in a door because of the base that you have to balance it. So that's why we're asking for different ones for different programs, because we can't get the tables through the doors. So
Wow.
it's just different models.
So
Very
what-
exciting.
What schools are they going to? I did not see that.
Okay?
It's in the,
I wrote them down in case y'all asked that, but do you want me to go through it?
No, I
Yeah.
see them now. Thank you.
Okay.
okay.
Thank
Okay,
you.
great. Well, I hope we can come and visit some of those classrooms. That sounds very exciting.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank you.
Lastly, Andrew Kraft, our Chief Accountability Officer, will discuss the 2022-2023 retesting program, readministration of the EOC and EOG test.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Bringing this topic back to you. Now, we discussed this earlier. Just want to make sure you're aware of the proposal so that you can take action. So the retesting program, I want to make sure you understand who qualifies for this. That would be any student that was not proficient on an EOG or an EOC. Their participation is entirely optional, right? No student is required to participate in this, but they may participate in the retesting if they so choose. But in order to participate in that retesting, they have to come to the 1 day of remediation that we will provide. So let me go over that schedule with you. The proposed schedule is this. June 12th would be our remediation day, and then June 13 and 14 would be the days that we propose readministering the EOGs and the EOCs to any students that opt, emphasize this is optional, any students that opt to come and take these retests. For your information, bus routes will be run as normal, so no child will be prevented from coming because of transportation, and child nutrition will also be provided on the days of remediation and on the days of retesting. So it's our recommendation y'all will consider this summer retesting plan, and with your approval, we'll move forward as written. Are there questions?
My question is, can a student opt to retest but not go through the 1 day of remediation?
They cannot. They have to attend
They gotta do
remediation in order to
both.
retest.
And we are making every effort with the teachers to help them with all of this, with their busy schedule and end of year and letters training and
Yeah.
all of that, yeah.
We are, that's right. That's going to be up to the principals to develop their test plan on their campus. There'll be different numbers of students retesting on each campus, and so principals will make their plans accordingly.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next order of business is action items. First, consider approval of the request for qualifications, the RFQ review and list of recommended service providers and academic enrichment activities for summer programs. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion from Board Member Crowley and a second from Board Member Watts. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, that is unanimous. Thank you. Next, consider approval of Heart Math Tutoring Program. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Okay, in a second?
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion from Board Member Miller and a second from Board Member Kuhn. Any discussion? All in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you. Next, consider approval of the purchase of the equipment for CTE. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion from Vice Chair Bohannon and a second from Board Member Barr. Any discussion? All in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you. Next, consider approval of the summer retesting plan. Do I have a motion?
Motion, move to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, so I have a motion from Board Member Wood, a second from Board Member Crowley. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, any opposed? Okay, that motion passes 7-1. Next, consider approval of the contract with Education Resource Group. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Okay, do I have okay, so I have a motion from Board Member Crowley. I have a second from Board Member Watts. Any discussion? All in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you. Next, consider approval of the Winston-Salem Forsyth County School Education Foundation request.
Move to approve.
Okay. I have a motion from Board Member Miller. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Board Member Watts. Any discussion?
Yes, for the sake of just saying that, how much is the request for?
50.
It was 50,000?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. All in favor? Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you. Next is consider approval of Board of Education representative for the Education Foundation.
Chair Kaplan, I'd like to nominate Marilyn Parker for that position.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Sorry, okay. So we have a motion to nominate Marilyn Parker for that position by Board Member Crowley and a second by Board Member Miller. Any discussion?
I just wanted to say that Board Member Parker. Marilyn Parker is a very well-respected former colleague. She has served on this board for quite some time. I'm really excited to support her for this. I think she's going to be a great addition to the foundation.
And I'd also like to comment that I've thoroughly enjoyed working and serving and getting to know Marilyn Parker during my first term on the board. Just a little bit of fun facts about Marilyn. Marilyn grew up in Maryville, Tennessee. She graduated from Tennessee Technological University with a degree in both early childhood and elementary education. She received a Master's of Education from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro with a concentration in reading curriculum and instruction. She taught in the Blount County, Tennessee school system, and after marrying Lamar Parker, she moved to North Carolina and worked in the Surry County school system for 6 years. She was the director of Ardmore Methodist Through the Week preschool from 1986 to 2021. She has served our district as a school board member for about 22 years, off and on. And during that time, she also served as chair of finance and curriculum committees. Marilyn also served 2 years as president of the Forsyth Association of Educators of Young Children. She's a member of Alpha Delta Kappa Educators Sorority and past president. And Marilyn served on the board of North Carolina School Board Association for 4 years. And most important, she is the mother of 4 grandchildren, 3 boys and 1 daughter, and a mother-in-law to 3 wonderful additional family members. Her very supportive husband has walked alongside her for 43 years of married life. I think Marilyn will bring great experience and passion to the Education Foundation. So, any other comments or discussion? Okay. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Okay, that is unanimous. Next, consider approval of Budget Amendment 1 through 5. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Okay, motion by Board Member Kuhn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Bohannon. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, that is unanimous. Thank you. Next, consider approval of the extension of agreement with Appalachian State University for Lab School. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Board Member Crowley, a second by Board Member Miller. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, that is unanimous.
I'm sorry, it's not.
Oh, it's not?
No,
I'm
it's
sorry.
not.
Opposed?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. Motion passes 7-1. Next, consider approval of the Duke Energy easement, 285 of Meadowlark Drive. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Board Member Kuhn, but do I have a second? Second by Board Member Brown Gaither. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, that is unanimous. Our next order of business is announcements. Tuesday, March 28th will be our next regular meeting of the Board of Education. Before we begin the section of our meeting in which anyone can comment on almost anything, let me say to our Cable 2 viewers, thank you for watching. This will conclude our broadcast.
You're watching Cable 2. Thank you for joining us on your school channel, Cable 2.
To the gym. The students must cross the lunch area to get to the gym. And as my daughter was one of them, her and multiple students were hit by OC fogger that was used. Thankfully, the gym teacher was able to get to them very fastly and start flushing eyes out, as one of the children was also an asthmatic. However, this has caused an ER visit and a follow-up doctor's appointment for my child, as she is still having lasting issues. The amount used in the building caused the school to turn into a gas chamber.